मुकुंद माधव मुरली मनोहर गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोपी पूजित मानस चोरा पीतांबरधारी गीता बोधक साई सुंदर वंदित हृदय विहारी. O Krishna, you are revered with many names such as Mukunda, Madhava, Murali Manohara, Govardhana Giridhari. You are the one who is worshipped by Gopikas the one who adorned the yellow attire, Pitambara, shining brilliantly and stealing the hearts of all Gopikas as much as all your bhaktas. You are the one who gave the sacred Bhagavad Gita for all sincere seekers, for yugas and yugas to absorb. For those who worship you, adore you, and meditate upon you, you verily grant them the inner experience of realizing you as the eternal indweller, Hridaya Vihari. Let us get a little deeper into the various names of Krishna referred in this bhajan. Mukunda. There are various interpretations for Krishna's names as well as for any incarnation names. We will take suitable interpretation which helps us in meditating in depth on the incarnation. Mukunda. Mu here refers to mukti or salvation, and ku refers to that which is bad or very obnoxious. Thus, Mukku refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who saves one from the material existence. Obnoxious here is referred to the worldly existence, material existence. Mukunda is the one who takes us from this material existence and lifts us to salvation with our sincere craving, mumukshatva. The Lord is called Mukunda because he does not only saves the devotee from material existence or samsara, but also grants the devotee the salvation and transcendental bliss upon realizing God. Madhava. The very commonly known interpretation is the consort of Madhava, where Ma refers to goddess Lakshmi. She is the supreme being who lives in the hearts of all beings of the universe, and she is endowed with divine forms. We know that in Lakshmi Sahasranama, she is called the Supreme Prakriti who possesses the 6 qualities: Jnana, Bala, Aishwarya, Virya, Shakti and Tejas. She is one with him and yet remains distinct like the moonlight of the cool rayed moon. She is endowed with all glory and is eternal. Another interpretation very conducive to meditation is Mauna, the Dhyana, and Va, that is yoga. There is a Vidya referred in couple of Upanishads, Brihadaranyaka Upanishads and Chandogya Upanishad, called as Madhu Vidya. In that, these three are taken. In short, Madhu Vidya is granted by a teacher to a deserving disciple, which helps him in attaining eternal bliss, like the sweetest of all sweeter things, Madhu. So here Ma stands for Mauna, Da stands for Dhyana, and Va stands for Yoga. He is experienced by the seeker who has stilled his mind through Mauna, Dhyana and Yoga. Murali Manohara. Krishna, known for his divine music on his flute, known in Sanskrit as Murali. In fact, Lord Krishna is known as Murali Manohara, which means he captures the heart of his devotees with his music on the Murali. A devotee wrote on this, a saintly devotee wrote on this: may the divine sound and music of the young Krishna be victorious as it brings spiritual ecstasy to the world. It gives sounds to the Vedas. Note, it gives sounds to the Vedas. It brings joy to the trees. It melts mountains. It captivates animal. It is joyful to the herds of cattle. It is making cowherds enthusiastic. It is making sages contemplative. It is expanding the 7 notes, Saptaswaras, and it is describing the meaning of the divine sound. Om. Murali, Venuganam is meditated and interpreted thus by a devotee, a bhakta. Then Govardhana Giridhari. We know the background of this Govardhana Giridhari. We know that Giridhara means the one who lifted a mountain or hill. The term reminds us of the divine play that Krishna unfolded as a young boy in the foothills of Govardhan. Interestingly, Govardhan also has the interpretation of Go, that is cow, Vardhan, nurturer or nourisher. In several Samarpan bhajans, this has been dealt in detail. Is not our Sai Krishna the one, the only one who holds the Govardhan, having 5-fold virtues of Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa, and in that, under that huge mountain-like umbrella of these 5 virtues, protects all of us and nurtures all of us and saves us from the agony of samsara. How beautiful is our Swami. Gopi Pujita Manasa Chora. The entire Rasa Leela from Srimad Bhagavatam has to be dealt for meditating on this one expression, Gopi Pujita Manasa Chora. Of course, we will not have time for that. So, in a condensed manner, Swami has given very condensed form, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam in Bhagavata Vahini. So, we will capture a very small portion from the Bhagavata Vahini, which illumines this expression Gopi Pujita Manasa Chora. Sage Sukha is explaining to Raja Parikshit, and Swami writes, these are all the expressions of Uddhava after meeting the Gopikas and returning. There is no distinction between Gopi and Gopala, the devotee and Bhagavan. The hearts of Gopikas had been transformed into altars wherein Krishna was installed. Their inner cravings were satiated by drinking the nectar of the essence of Krishna. Swami doesn't write the form of Krishna. Note, he writes, Swami himself, having incarnated in form, he writes, the nectar in the essence of Krishna. These are all very, very subtle things which we have to note. While describing these characteristics of the devotion of the cowherd maids, Gopikas, Sukha was so overcome with joy that teardrops fell down from his eyes. These are all Swami's writing. He lost awareness of all external things and entered super consciousness, that is Samadhi, so often that the holy men and sages who were listening to and watching him were also filled with ecstasy, and an irrepressible yearning to visualize Krishna dawned on them. Only one thing has to be conveyed about the prema that the maids, the Gopikas had for Sri Krishna. It is, if we have to understand what prema is all about. Krishna is an avatar who descended as love and who spread love and taught in the Dwapara Yuga to the beings salvation through prema bhakti. If we have to understand, if we have to know what prema is all about, we have to know the relationship between Gopikas and Krishna. Except for Srimad Bhagavatam, afterwards, whatever interpretations, whatever portraits, whatever paintings, whatever descriptions are made about Rasa Leela, they are all from the perverted mind, all from human beings, interpreting that as per their perverted mind, as to how they would interpret prema between a man and a woman. This was far, far, far beyond all these imaginations. Not getting into detail, but imagine if in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is written that Indradi Devas all were listening to the story of Sri Krishna which sage Sukha was giving to Parikshit, and the entire Devaganas, the entire Devas were filled with ecstasy, filled with joy, filled with tears of joy. This one thing, if we can visualize how pure the entire episode of Rasa Leela should have been for the Devas to be filled with that supreme, undiluted joy. Sukha says to Parikshit, King, the awareness of the cowherd maids had become one with the consciousness of Krishna. So, they noticed nothing else and none else. They saw every stone and tree as Krishna. They held on to it, calling out, Krishna, Krishna. They made the stones and the trees feel the agony of separation from Krishna. And they also melted in the heart of that grief, so that teardrops fell from the points of the leaves. The entire Vrindavan cried along with the Gopikas in the separation of Krishna, who says the trees have no life. Some of you might have read. If you would not have read, even if you have read, it's worth a recap. Once, a lot of saris were kept in the inner room for distribution for a function. Some of the saris were distributed and some of the saris got left out. And the devotee who recounts that incident writes that the saris which were left out, they were all wet. And Swami told they are all crying because they were not touched by me and they have not been distributed. Who says they don't have life? Everything in this creation is filled with that prema. That is the basis of our human life. We just don't recognize that. The stones softened with the tears they exuded. How amazing these scenes must have been. The axiom, Swami is writing, the axiom, all is alive, sarvam sajivam, was proved true to Uddhava. The stones and trees of Vrindavan demonstrated that nothing is devoid of consciousness and life. And then coming to the last part. Luckily, unlike the last bhajan, the sequences, there was no necessity to change because it is coming in a perfect sequence. We will understand that. The last is the Gita Bodhaka Sai Sundara and Vandita Hridaya Vihari. We will cut it short. We will just dwell upon the significance of Bhagavad Gita. Now that we are all into Bhagavad Gita these days in the blog, Swami Shivananda Maharaj writes on Bhagavad Gita, if all Upanishads should represent cows, Sri Krishna is their milker. Arjuna is the calf who first tasted that milk of wisdom of the self, milked by the divine cowherd for the benefit of all humanity. This milk is the Bhagavad Gita. It solves not only Arjuna's problems and doubts, but also the world's problem of and those of every individual. All the paths are given, not getting into detail, but Jnana, Bhakti, Raja, Karma, everything. So pick up whichever is suiting to your aptitude, your samskaras, glide along with it. It's everything that has to be known and understood and absorbed in the path of spirituality. It has everything in it. Pick up and choose whatever is suited to you and progress. And then comes Vandita Hridaya Vihar. Vandita, the one who is worshipped or adored with gratitude. And here, after going through all the Mukunda, Madhava, Murali, Manohara, Govardhana, Giridhari, Gopi, Pujita, Manasa Chora, Nita, Bodhaka, Sai, Sundara, Vandita Hridaya Vihari. Why? What for this gratitude? What for this adoration? What was this worship? Because right from the Mukunda, Madhava, Murali, Manohara, right from the days of Mathura to Vrindavan to Dwaraka until the end, through his life, giving the sacred Gita to Arjuna and as much to the entire creation, through any of the four paths, the Lord ultimately taught the spiritual aspirants, guided them, and ultimately made them experience the God not elsewhere outside them, but very much within their hearts. Vandita Hridaya Vihari. How beautiful the bhajan ends with this last expression. "10 years or 100 years or 100 births of spiritual sadhana you undertake. Ultimate goal or ultimate end is never an attainment from something outside you. There is no invention happening here. There is no new attainment happening here. Any spiritual sadhana through any path suitable to you, taken up sincerely, ultimately reveals yourself to yourself. Hence, it is a discovery of your own true self. It is nothing new. The preceptors, the acharyas, the gurus, the incarnations, the shrutis, all of them are well aware that ultimately it is within the heart that the devotee or a sadhaka is going to realize his true self. Call it love, call it ananda, call it moksha, call it whatever. So, Vandita Hridaya Vihari. We started looking up to you as Mukunda, Madhava, Murali, Manohara, ultimately to come to the realization that you are the Hridaya Vihari. How beautiful, how beautiful. We will learn the bhajan.
मुकुंद माधव मुरली मनोहर गोवर्धन गिरिधारी चोरा पीतांबरधारी गोपी पूजित मानस चोरा पीतांबरधारी हरि हरि मुकुंद माधव मुरली मनोहर गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गीता भोजक साई सुंदर गीता बोधक साई सुंदर वंदित हृदय विहारी जय वंदित हृदय विहारी मुकुंद माधव मुरली मनोहर गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोपी पूजित मानस चोरा पीतांबरधारी